Incredible moment. Millionaire discovers heartwarming gift from little girl after 3 years of grief. Jack Thompson, a self-made millionaire, sat alone in the gloom of his mansion, shadows dancing on the walls where laughter once lived. His heart, heavy with the sorrow of losing his daughter Emma, felt like a stone pressing down. Minutes turned into hours, and hours stretched into days, each one defining a life without her. It had been 3 years since her infectious laughter filled the room. 3 years buried beneath waves of grief that surged and fell, but never quite receding. His fingers brushed over the dust-covered keepsakes scattered around them, photographs, teddy bears, and little drawings scrawled in colorful crayon. Jack found himself lost in memories, clinging tightly to the echoes of joy that haunted his home. The walls seemed to whisper her name. One fateful night, driven by the need to remember, he rifled through a box marked Emma's Treasures. That S when he discovered it, a colorful, handcrafted bracelet. A little masterpiece from an artsy summer camp, filled with bright beads that symbolized her whimsical dreams. As tears clouded his vision, Jack could almost hear her giggle, an echo that illuminated the cavern of his heart. Deeply moved, he felt a strange urge to break the suffocating silence of his life. He decided to attend the community charity fair to support underprivileged children, hoping to find a flicker of joy to guide him back to the light. Before he knew it, he was there, swept up in the vivid colors and sounds of laughter, an atmosphere bursting with hope and shared purpose. Among the booths filled with hand-painted crafts, he met Lily, a spirited little girl with a necklace of mismatched beads and an unstoppable grin. Jack was struck by the spark in her eyes, a reflection of the dreamer he once loved in Emma. In that moment, a connection formed between them, two souls trading stories of struggle and resilience that began to bridge their worlds. Lily spoke of her family's battles, her hopes, and her dreams for a better life, crafting jewelry that told stories only a child could imagine. As he listened, Jack's chest tightened. Could he lift her spirits? Should he help her dreams take flight? Before he could think, a wave of warmth swept over him, a flicker of the very joy he thought lost forever. With the vibrant community buzzing around them, their lives intertwined as the lines of class and privilege blurred, forging new bonds that felt like destiny. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But as Jack watched Lily's eyes shine with unwritten dreams, doubt crept into his heart. The whispers of societal expectations tugged at him, and he knew he stood at a crossroad. What if helping meant changing his own fortune to influence another's future? The carnival atmosphere buzzed around them, laden with stories of loss, identity, and aspiration. The joyous laughter danced through the air while Jack faced a reckoning with the shadows of his past. Just as clarity began to settle in, a sudden commotion erupted at the fair. A crisis loomed, testing the very lessons he was starting to embrace. The moment changed everything, and Jack knew he had to make a choice. Embrace the memory of Emma and transcend the bounds of grief, or succumb to a silence that would forever keep him in the dark. With the bracelet tight in his pocket and the warmth of a budding friendship radiating from Lily, he stood at a precipice, facing a question that loomed larger than life itself. Can a heart so heavy with grief ever truly heal? The laughter that filled the air shifted into gasps and murmurs. Jack could feel the tension ripple through the crowd like a sudden chill. Something was wrong. People began to point toward the far end of the fair, where a small crowd had formed, their faces painted with concern. Panic bubbled inside him. "Lily, stay here," Jack urged, his heart racing as he wriggled through the throng. His instincts kicked in, a fatherly instinct that, despite the heartache, propelled him to protect. The world became a blur of colorful tents and bouncing children as he pushed forward. As Jack reached the center of the commotion, his breath caught in his throat. A little boy, no older than 5, was on the ground, clutching his leg in visible pain. Tears streamed down his cheeks, glistening in the sunlight. The little boy's mother was beside him, her voice breaking as she tried to comfort him, but the fear in her eyes was clear. Without thinking, Jack knelt beside them. "What happened?" he asked gently, keeping his voice calm, trying to ease the rising panic. "He fell off the swings," the mother stammered, clearly overwhelmed. "I think he might have hurt his ankle really badly." An array of emotions danced inside Jack: fear, empathy, determination. He reached into his pocket for his phone, prepared to call for help, but something held him back. He shouldn't just be a voice on the other end of the line. He felt he needed to do more. "Let us take a look," he said, gently lifting the boy's leg. He saw swelling already beginning to form, and that familiar ache in his heart tightened again. He thought of Emma and how she once fell while riding her bike. How he had rushed to her side, held her, both of them giggling through the tears. Jack focused on the boy now, his heart swelling with unexpected resolve. "Hey there, buddy. I'm Jack. Can you wiggle your toes for me?" The boy managed a soft whimper, but a flicker of curiosity pulsed in his eyes. With patience, Jack guided the child in simple movements. "I know it hurts, but let us see if we can make it feel a little better." With every fleeting smile he coaxed from the boy, Jack felt the iron weight of his own sorrow begin to lift, if only slightly. As help arrived in the form of paramedics, Jack took a step back to give space. He watched the team carefully lift the boy, wrapped in comforting blankets. The mother thanked him, her voice shaky but filled with gratitude. Lily appeared beside him, her eyes wide. "That was really brave," she whispered, all reflecting in her expression. "You saved him." Jack's chest swelled with something he thought long gone. "We all have the power to help, don't we?" he replied, a faint smile breaking through the clouds hovering over his heart. Lily nodded, her glowing smile becoming contagious. That moment felt transformative, a shared understanding of compassion pulsing between them. But even as the warmth filled him, Jack couldn't shake the lurking thought: was this just a fleeting connection, or a sign that he could truly move forward? Suddenly the tension in Jack's gut returned, weighing on him. Just as he was about to voice a thought, the air shifted as 2 familiar faces approached the local news crew. They had witnessed the scene unfold and were eager to capture his story. Jack froze. Fame and attention were the last things he wanted. His heart raced as he faced the cameras, uncertain but aware of the choice ahead. Would he share his truth, his grief, the desire to honor Emma through kindness? Or would he retreat, cloaked under the same shadows that had shrouded him for years? Jack stood there, heart pounding, feeling the weight of not just the grief, but of potential that shimmered before him. In that moment, he realized that healing might come with each act of kindness. What would he choose to reveal? With the cameras aimed and the world watching, he took a deep breath and prepared to step into the light. The flash of cameras ignited in front of Jack, blinding him for a heartbeat. He felt a wave of heat rise to his cheeks, and he silently cursed the attention. But, as he caught Lily's gaze, wide and hopeful, that feeling of dread shifted slightly. She deserved to see her dad doing something meaningful. He wanted to be that person again, the one who could light up a room. "Mr. Sullivan, can you tell us what happened?" a reporter shouted, already moving closer, her notepad poised for notes. The microphoned words bounced off the nearby carnival games, piercing through the usually joyful chatter. Jack swallowed hard. His heart raced, but he couldn't turn away. The frightened faces of the crowd seemed to lean in, eager for a hero to emerge. He thought about his own hero, Emma, who used to embrace the spotlight without hesitation. Would she want him to retreat now? He stammered, suddenly unsure. "I just saw a child hurt. I did what I could." He attempted a smile, but it felt shaky at best. The reporter pressed on, sensing the emotion beneath his words. "And how does that make you feel, Jack? A father helping another child in need after everything?" With that simple probe, the walls he had built up began to tremble. Jack's expression turned serious. "It's hard. You never stop feeling the loss. But if I can help someone else, honor her memory, maybe I can find purpose again. The crowd listened, spellbound. The hum of the fair faded as emotions ebbed in the air, weaving a connection among strangers, briefly making them neighbors in grief and hope. Is that why you saved that boy today? The reporter asked, her voice softening. Jack glanced at the paramedics, who were now carrying the boy to safety. In that fleeting moment, when he had knelt by the boy's side, he realized he felt alive for the first time in years, even while trusting the ache in his heart. Yeah, something like that. The murmurs around him shifted to warmth. People were smiling, nodding, and he sensed the collective breath they all held was being released. It wasn't just about a boy or a fall. It was about connection. Suddenly, a young girl appeared from the side, clutching a small bouquet of wildflowers, her eyes shining with sincerity. She tugged at his pant leg gently. "Mr. Jack, I heard you helped the boy. Can you have a flower? It will make you feel happy." Jack knelt, his heart softening further. The bloom of colors in her tiny hands was as genuine as her intention. "Thank you, sweet girl," he said, accepting the flowers. "You're very kind." Lily beamed beside him, almost bouncing in excitement. "See, Dad? You are making a difference." He watched his daughter, and in that moment, her joy wrapped around him like a warm blanket. The crowd was still there, watching him like his own small banner of admiration. Was it possible that maybe, just maybe, his journey to heal was beginning to take shape through these connections? As the interview wrapped up, Jack realized there was a shift within him. The weight of grief still lingered, but it felt less suffocating. He could breathe. He felt the flickers of something resembling purpose reigniting his heart. But in the periphery, something pulled at him, a nagging feeling that tomorrow would challenge this moment. As the fair lights glimmered against the dusk, Jack sensed that the journey to find himself would take more than just a good deed. Tomorrow, he thought to himself, glancing back at the lively fair ahead. What could it bring? He had just stepped into the light, but how far would it take him? And what lay beyond this moment of warmth? The next morning came too quickly for Jack. The memories of the fair, the warmth of the crowd, the little girl with her wildflowers lingered in his mind like a soft melody. He blinked at the sunlight streaming through his window, hesitant to face another day. The edges of sorrow still clung to him, but today felt different. Today held promise, a whisper of change. As he wandered to the kitchen, he was greeted by Lily's laughter. She was animated, pretending to direct a play, her stuffed animals arranged around the table. Watching her, he felt a swell of pride. This girl of his was bursting with creativity and kindness, a beacon of light in the darkness that had swallowed him for too long. "Dad," she called out, her face a canvas of joy. "Look at my show. It's called The Brave Hero." Jack chuckled, forcing himself to pull away from the weight in his heart. "Oh really? What happens in this brave hero story?" She stood tall, her tiny voice loud and clear. "The brave hero saves the day and makes everyone happy. They give flowers and smiles." She then waved her arms dramatically, and he couldn't help but laugh out loud. Lily's enthusiasm seeped into him, a balm to his weary soul. They spent the morning together, turning simple chores into games. Dusting became a race to see who could get to the next room the quickest, and washing dishes turned into a bubbly splash fight. His laughter echoed in the house, chasing away the shadows that had long lingered. As they settled down for lunch, Jack felt an overwhelming urge to take Lily out for the day. The weather was perfect, and the world outside seemed to hum with possibilities. "How about we go to the park? Maybe we can find a new adventure?" he said, feeling the words tumble from his lips with sincerity. "Yay! Ice cream afterward," Lily squealed, jumping up and down. The thought of ice cream made Jack smile. It was a simple pleasure, but one he realized he hadn't truly enjoyed in ages. They grabbed their things, and as they walked to the park, Jack felt lighter than he had in years. The world around him was alive. Children laughed. Adults smiled. The sun shimmered. It was nothing short of a miracle. At the park, they ran through the grass, played tag, and challenged each other to races, an exhilarating freedom he hadn't felt in forever. Jack watched his daughter, the way she embraced everything around her. Joy radiated from her, igniting something within him that had been dormant. Suddenly, he spotted a familiar figure across the playground, the girl with wildflowers. She was playing on the swings, her laughter ringing out like bells. An unexpected rush of affection washed over him as he recalled the flower she had given him, the simple gesture that ignited a flicker of hope. "Do you want to say hi?" Jack asked Lily, pointing in the girl's direction. "Yes." "Can we bring her flowers?" she shouted, always thinking of others. Jack smiled, feeling the thrill of a new connection forming again. They approached, and as they did, he noticed parents shift to look at him. Their eyes reflected the admiration of a hero, and he realized that he didn't just save that child yesterday. He was also garnering new strength from those he met today. Just then, as they reached the girl, she turned with astonished eyes. "You're Mr. Sullivan, the hero." Jack's heart swelled as he knelt down. "And you are my hero for giving me these lovely flowers." In that moment, he realized this was more than just a chance encounter, it was an invitation to embrace life again. Just as the sunlight broke through a cloud, a profound clarity settled in his chest. But as they exchanged words and laughter, a shadow crept into his mind. Was this fleeting warmth enough to face the reality of what lay ahead? Tomorrow held the unknown, and he could feel its gentle tug pulling at him again. What would it reveal? As laughter floated around them, Jack felt the warmth of the girl's joy wrap around him like a comforting blanket. Her vibrant dress billowed slightly in the breeze, reflecting the innocence and energy that he yearned to recapture. Lily bounced beside him, her excitement palpable, and for a fleeting moment, it felt as though time had stopped. "Mr. Sullivan, you really are brave," the girl exclaimed, her eyes wide with admiration. Jack could see the sincerity in her small features. It was as if her words had transformed him. A weight on his shoulders began to lift. "Thank you for that," he said, smiling back. "But bravery isn't just saving others. It's also about opening your heart again." He didn't dare share the heaviness that still lingered in his heart, the part he was still battling to understand. Lily took a step forward, offering a little bouquet she had picked up from the nearby flower bed, her delicate fingers shaking slightly. "We thought you might like these," she said, confidence in her small voice. The girl's face lit up with joy. "They are beautiful, just like you," she chimed, and Jack couldn't help but feel enchanted by this interaction. Somehow, there in that moment, he felt a bridge form between them, connecting their disparate stories in a way he hadn't anticipated. Seconds turned to minutes as they chatted, sharing stories of playground adventures and fanciful ideas. Jack caught glimpses of parents watching the exchange, their admiration palpable. The laughter, the flowers, the smiles, all of it melded into a sense of community that had been absent from his life for far too long. It was exhilarating, electric even. But deep down, Jack felt another tug. The reality of his situation, the silence waiting for him back home, loomed like a dark cloud at the edge of this joyous day. What if this was just an escape? What if tomorrow he would wake back into the solitude of grief? "Would you like to come to the swings with us?" the little girl asked, breaking through his thoughts. He hesitated, glancing at Lily, whose eyes sparkled with anticipation. "Yes, I'd love that," he said finally, feeling the bounce of caution in his step. Perhaps it was time to embrace this moment fully, to lose himself in laughter and play without the burden of what awaited him. As they pushed the girls higher on the swings, the sound of their giggles filling the air, a flicker of uncertainty remained within Jack. He pushed it aside, needing to focus on this tiny adventure. The wind in his hair, the sun on his skin, the sound of joy, it all felt liberating. Suddenly it hit him. Standing there, amidst the laughter and chatter, he realized that seeds of hope were being planted. He had only tasted a fleeting bit of happiness, but it was there, waiting to grow if he allowed it. A momentary pause came when one of the other parents approached him. "You've brought a lot of joy to the park today," the woman said, her voice steady with sincerity. The admiration in her eyes deepened, the warmth growing within Jack. Sometimes a little kindness can change everything. He nodded, feeling his heart swell again. Could he really change? Could he let kindness fill the cracks of his broken heart? As the sun began its descent, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Jack watched Lily swing high, her laughter intertwining with the chirping of birds. He knew this day would end, and life would continue with its trials and tribulations. But today had shifted something deep inside him. But just then, from the corner of his eye, he spotted an old friend walking toward him, a figure he had not seen in years. Fear and uncertainty flooded him as he recalled their last conversation, a painful reminder of loss. What would they say to one another now, with only shadows of a past tangled with regret hanging in the air? Jack took a deep breath, steeling himself for the unexpected reunion that could alter everything once again. What weight would this moment carry? Would it dash his newfound joy or reinforce it? Jack's heart raced as he recognized the familiar figure making its way toward him. Michael. They had grown up together, sharing countless adventures and dreams. But everything changed after that night, after the tragedy that had ripped their friendship apart. The memories flooded back like a tidal wave, pulling him under. Jack. Michael's voice broke through the chaos of his thoughts. It was warm and inviting, yet there was an underlying tension that hinted at all that was left unsaid. The distance of years hung between them, heavy like an unwelcome guest. Michael. Jack managed to speak, but it felt like an echo in an empty room. He could feel the hesitant gazes of onlookers, the laughter of children fading into the background as time stood still at this unexpected reunion. Lily's laughter drifted towards him, innocent and carefree, reminding him of the joy he had just experienced. But now, standing before his old friend, everything shifted. It's been a long time, Michael said, taking a cautious step closer. Yeah, it has, Jack replied. The silence that followed contained all the words left unspoken, a chasm of hurt and regret that neither knew how to cross. How are you? Michael's eyes searched Jack's, trying to connect, to bridge that gap they had fallen into. Jack could see the shadows of the struggle behind him too, shadows he'd long learned to mask, but still felt echoing in his own heart. I'm managing, Jack said, his voice thick with unshared pain. None of this felt effortless anymore. The gentle warmth from earlier felt distant now, replaced by a chill of unresolved moments. He wanted to ask about the family they'd once shared, about life after that terrible day, but the words clung to the back of his throat. Michael shifted uncomfortably. I heard about your loss. I'm sorry. I should have reached out sooner. Jack looked away, the guilt of unspoken accusations rising. Yeah, well, it's complicated. The laughter of children filtered back in, reminding him of the joy he had just felt with Lily. Yet, standing here, everything felt heavy, like they were dragging anchors from their past. I didn't know what to say, Michael continued. I just couldn't face it. I get that, Jack admitted, finally meeting Michael's gaze once more. We can't change the past, but here we are now. It's something we should try to talk about? Michael's face softened, as if a door had cracked open within him. I want to, really. But I didn't just lose her that night I lost you to, Jack. Their words hung in the air, unfiltered honesty breaking the dam of emotions that had built up over years. Jack felt the warmth from earlier creeping in again, like a sliver of sunlight breaking through dark clouds. Maybe this is our chance to find that back, he said, taking a deep breath, allowing a thread of hope to tie them together. The moment felt like an opening, a fragile yet significant step into mending what had been broken. They exchanged smiles, both yearning for connection and healing. But just as he felt himself stepping forward into this new chapter, Lily called out from the swings, her laughter teasing but also sweet. Mr. Sullivan, come push me higher. Torn between the past and the present, Jack glanced at her, then back at Michael, whose expression was filled with a mix of longing and understanding. Could they both find a way to move forward? Together? Could this fractured friendship be healed amidst the laughter of childhood once more? His heart raced with anticipation. The day was still bright, and the future no longer looked so daunting. Yet, the weight of old mistakes loomed large, leaving Jack wondering if this moment could truly change everything once again. Would stepping back into Michael's life open doors or close a few forever? Caught between the laughter of children and the gravity of their shared past, Jack took a breath, grounding himself. He could almost feel the warmth Lily radiated as she swung higher, her little feet kicking joyfully into the air. It was as if her innocence ignited a small flame, pushing back against the shadows lingering around him and Michael. "Do you want to go play with her?" Michael asked softly, nodding towards Lily. The suggestion hung in the air, tangled with significance. Jack hesitated, fighting the urge to reject the idea. He couldn't let himself retreat into the safety of the past, nor could he stand frozen in the chaos of their emotional storm. "Yeah," he said finally, forcing a smile. "She'll just keep calling until I do." As they walked towards the swings, Jack could feel a weight shifting. It was small but significant, like a crack in the dam they had both built over the years. Uncertainty lingered, but so did a flicker of hope. "Hey, Lily," Jack called out as they approached, his voice buoyed by the thrill of her laughter. She turned, her eyes sparkling like the summer sky, and squealed with delight. "Mr. Sullivan, you came," she exclaimed, almost bouncing in her seat. "Of course, just pushing you a little higher," he said, taking his place behind her. With a gentle shove, he sent her soaring into the air. She giggled, pure joy spilling from her lips. For a fleeting moment, it felt like everything had returned to normal. Michael stood to the side, watching with an expression that blended admiration and nostalgia. Jack caught the glimpse, and memories flooded his mind. So many summer days spent pushing Lily's parents' little girl on the swings. The laughter, the love, the safety of those sunny afternoons felt like a different world now. But the laughter brought something else back too. The ache of remembrance, the loss that had shadowed their lives since that night, pulled at Jack's heart. He couldn't ignore it any longer. Standing there, pushing Lily higher, he felt the urge to talk to Michael again. "Do you miss it?" Jack asked suddenly, not looking away from Lily. "What we had as friends?" "I do." Michael's voice was a soft whisper, but it cut through the noise like a sharp wind. Jack turned to see pain etched on Michael's face, a mirror to his own. "Every day. I didn't know how to reach out, not after everything." "I know the feeling," Jack admitted, his throat tightening. He thought about the gap that had grown between them, the misunderstandings that had festered unresolved. "But if we're going to move on, we need to talk. Start fresh, right?" Michael nodded slowly, eyes shifting toward Lily, who continued to swing higher, unburdened and free. They watched her together for a moment, and something shifted. The air felt different, charged with possibilities that hadn't existed moments before. "After all this time, Jack, I really want to understand what happened. I want to hear about her." Michael started but faltered, his voice thick with emotion. Jack turned fully toward him, feeling the weight of those uncharted waters ahead. "It's going to be hard," he warned, as his mind raced with thoughts of long-buried conversations. "But maybe that's the only way to really start again." As they exchanged glances, Jack felt a sudden clarity. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over them, a perfect backdrop for this pivotal moment. Then Lily called out again, bouncing with energy. "Mr. Sullivan, can you help me sit on top of the swings? It's the best place." Caught between the innocence of a child and the complexity of their past, Jack felt his heart swell. Could they really face the memories that haunted them now? In that moment, Lily represented a bridge. And as he glanced over at Michael, a quiet determination settled within him. Perhaps the memories didn't have to weigh them down. Perhaps they could lift them instead. Jack nodded toward Lily as she eagerly awaited his answer, a new resolve sparking in his heart. He was ready to take that leap. But just as his feet began to move, a strange tremor ricocheted through him, feeling that something deeper still lingered. What truths were hidden in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to resurface? Jack's heart raced again, not out of fear, but anticipation. What awaited them on the other side of those old ghosts? As Jack approached the swings with renewed determination, he felt the warmth of the sun on his back, each step fueling his resolve. Lily's voice rang out like a melody, her innocence punctuating the heavy air between him and Michael. "I can help you, Lily," he called out, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. It felt good to be moving towards her, even as the weight of their shared past loomed close. He reached her just in time, grabbing her small hands to help her transition from the swing to the top of the structure. "Let us do this," he encouraged, pulling her up gently. The thrill in her eyes made it all worth it. As she stood on top of the swings, arms stretched wide like she was flying, she laughed louder than ever, drawing him further into the moment. "Look, Mr. Sullivan, I'm a bird," she shouted, pure joy radiating from her. For a moment, everything else faded away: the sorrow, the heartache, the unresolved conversations with Michael. In that instant, it was just him and Lily against the world. This little girl had a way of igniting the light they all needed. "You're the best bird I've ever seen," he shouted back, earning another round of laughter from her. Michael stepped closer to them, a small smile breaking through the tension that had wrapped around them for so long. "You always knew how to make her smile, Jack." His voice carried a hint of admiration, tugging at the memories that lingered just beneath the surface. Jack met Michael's gaze and felt an understanding pass between them. Maybe they could start to heal, surrounding themselves with the innocent joy that Lily brought into their lives. "Get down safely now, bird," Jack said, quickly moving to help her slide carefully back down the swing set. As she hopped down, she ran straight to Michael. "Daddy, did you see? I was flying," she exclaimed, wrapping her arms around his waist. Michael chuckled, lifting her up effortlessly. "I saw, sweet pea. You're amazing." His pride was palpable, yet Jack noticed a flicker of sorrow hiding in his friend's eyes. Yet another reminder of the bittersweet nature of their reunion. Once they settled back down together, a silence enveloped them. Only Lily's laughter and the soft rustle of leaves filled the space. Jack could feel the weight of words unsaid gathering once again. This was the moment, the chance they both desperately needed. Michael, about everything Jack started, but Lily's cheerful quip interrupted him. "Can we have ice cream now?" she asked, her innocent face filling with expectation. Jack laughed despite himself. "Absolutely. Ice cream fixes everything." "Yay!" Lily squealed, her enthusiasm infectious. As they began to walk toward the little shop at the park, Jack caught Michael's eye again. There was an unspoken agreement between them: today might be the day they finally uncover the truths that needed to be shared. "Can we talk later, just the two of us?" Jack asked, his voice nearly drowned out by Lily's chatter. Michael nodded, the weight of what was to come hovering like a storm cloud. "Yeah. We need to," he replied, his tone neutral yet laced with emotion. As they walked, Lily skipping ahead, Jack's thoughts raced. The past felt like a puzzle they needed to piece together, each moment layered with feeling and urgency, paving the way for something more. But as they reached the ice cream stand and their excitement soared, Jack couldn't shake the foreboding twisting in his stomach. What stories were waiting to spill out? The line was short, but time seemed to blur. Moments stretched as they chose their flavors, but the truth lingered just beneath the sweetness of ice cream, the weight of memories, yet to be shared, hung heavy like a leaf waiting to drop. "Jack," Michael hesitated, drawing him closer with a hand on his shoulder. "Let us not keep avoiding the real talk." Jack's heart raced again. Was today really the day? As they made their way back to their bench, the air crackling with anticipation, he wondered what secrets they would unearth, and if they could finally embrace the healing that Lily had begun for them so bravely. But before they could settle into that conversation, a group of kids nearby erupted in excitement that turned their attention. Something was happening, building in the distance like tension before a storm. Jack turned to Michael, poised on the edge of something monumental. "What's going on?" And as they moved closer to investigate, Jack's heart quickened. He had a feeling that what lay ahead could change everything and reveal much more than they anticipated. Jack and Michael exchanged worried glances as the commotion of laughter grew louder. A group of children had gathered near the edge of a grassy field, their excited shouts slicing through the comfortable atmosphere they had just begun to reclaim. "What's happening?" Michael asked, his curiosity piqued. "I don't know," Jack replied, squinting against the sun to get a better view. As they drew nearer, It became clear that something had captured Lily's attention, sending sparkles of delight through her tiny frame. Look at her, Jack thought, heart swelling at the sight of her joy. Just when he thought they could steer their focus toward the past, it seemed fate had other plans. The crowd of kids parted, revealing a small dog that wagged its tail furiously, a colorful bandana tied around its neck. Lily dashed toward it, her laughter ringing out like music. A puppy! Look, Daddy, can we keep him? Jack chuckled as he marveled at the sight. The little dog bounded over to Lily, nuzzling against her small hands, as if sensing her boundless warmth. They all watched as she giggled and spun in circles, the world melting into a shimmering blur of innocence and pure, unrestrained happiness. Michael's gaze softened. Jack noted the flicker of a smile on his friend's face, even as a layer of sadness cloaked it. The juxtaposition of joy and sorrow hit Jack hard in the chest. This dog, this moment, seemed to affirm that goodness still existed, even amidst unresolved pain. He looks like he needs a home, Jack offered tentatively, feeling the urge to keep the magic alive. Maybe we can just take him for a little while. See how it feels? Michael stared intently at the scene before them, a war raging behind his eyes. It's a lot, Jack, he replied slowly. I don't want to throw Lily into a situation she won't understand, but look at her, Jack replied, urgency creeping into his tone. She is so happy. We can nurture that together. Just then, Lily turned back, her big blue eyes sparkling. Please, Daddy, can we keep him? Michael knelt beside her, brushing a stray hair behind her ear. Let us not make any rash decisions. Okay? We need to think about this. Jack was ready to take a leap. Just like us, right? We can figure things out as we go along together. He let the words hang there, hoping Michael would hear the truth in them. Michael sighed, running a hand through his hair. Jack could see the gears turning in his mind. The laughter and lightness surrounding them stood in stark contrast to the heaviness that had settled in their hearts for so long. I want to share the good stuff with you, and with Lily. Jack continued softly, his heart racing. But we have to confront the past first. Can we do that? Lily bounced excitedly at the prospect of her new friend and seemed not to notice the deeper conversation swirling around her. Michael straightened, his expression shifting, eyes flickering with apprehension and hope. Okay, let us just see how it goes. We'll take the puppy and talk later, he said, resignation and determination battling in his voice. As they made their way toward the little dog, joy radiated from the girl between them, her laughter floating high into the golden afternoon sky. Yet, even amidst the newfound joy, Jack felt a pang of uncertainty, the kind that swirled around every corner of their shared reality. Could they find a way to embrace both grief and joy? Could a puppy bridge the gap that had come to define their lives? With each step closer to the excited puppy, Jack's heart awoke to a heavy question echoing through the warmth of the day. What if this moment of happiness marked the beginning of rebuilding their fragile world? As they knelt down, Lily hugging the puppy, Jack caught sight of Michael's face, a mix of love and lingering pain dancing in an uncharted territory of their hearts. And just like that, as Lily let out another joyful squeal, Jack couldn't help but wonder, were they ready for the love that might blossom from this unexpected moment? But before he could share these thoughts, the distant sound of sirens pierced the joyful chaos of the park, pulling everyone's attention away. What now? Jack murmured under his breath, feeling a chill run down his spine. Michael's jaw tightened, and he looked back at Jack, his eyes narrowing. Whatever it is, it can't be good. The joy of the puppy quickly dimmed as a new storm brewed on the horizon, and Jack felt the weight of anticipation settle heavily on his shoulders. What were they about to encounter? The sirens wailed louder, slicing through the warmth of the afternoon as Jack, Michael, and Lily stood frozen, the puppy squirming in the young girl's arms. The laughter that had filled the air turned into an uneasy murmur as parents glanced at their children, uncertainty tightening its grip on the joyful scene. What does that mean? Lily asked, her face faltering as worry flickered in her wide eyes. Just a fire truck passing through, sweetheart, Jack said, forcing a smile even as dread curled in his stomach. But deep down, He knew it wasn't just a fire truck. It was an omen, a reminder that life could shift in an instant. Moments of joy could be eclipsed by pain and loss, just as they had experienced all too well. Around them, whispers grew among the onlookers, and Jack felt Michael tense beside him. Whatever it is, they wouldn't be sounding that alarm unless it was serious, Michael said, his voice shaking slightly. The weight in the air thickened as they shared a tremulous glance. Jack's heart raced at the thought of an emergency unfolding near them. For a moment, the puppy was forgotten. "Let us check," he said gently, kneeling down to meet Lily's gaze. "You stay close, okay? We just want to see what's going on." Lily nodded, her small hands tightening around the puppy. Jack took a step toward the direction of the sirens, urgency directing his every move. The three of them navigated through the crowd, drawn by the flashing lights now visible in the distance. As they approached, the anguished faces of bystanders greeted them. The air felt charged, as the chaos unfolded around the perimeter of a small home situated just beyond the park. Smoke billowed into the sky, twisting into dark shadows that danced against the bright afternoon. Jack's breath hitched. The scene struck a nerve deep within him. "It's just a fire," he reassured Lily, though he could hear the crackle of flames and see the silhouettes of firefighters moving with purpose. The urgency of their movements rang true with memories of his past. "They're helping," Michael exclaimed, determination coloring his voice. But it was tinged with anxiety. He stepped forward, as if compelled by some deep-seated instinct to be part of the action, to confront danger head-on. "Michael, wait!" Jack called, panic bubbling as he realized Michael might be slipping back into the shadows of that fateful night, the night that had forged a gulf between them. "There's nothing we can do right now." But Michael was gone before the echoes of his name faded. He pushed through the crowd, his focus transfixed on the firefighters. Jack stood still beside Lily, a mix of anger and fear in his chest. When Michael turned away, it was as though he had retreated back into a past that Jack had hoped they could escape together. "Can we help?" Lily's small voice pulled him back. He looked down to see her innocent excitement faltering in the face of reality. "Let us just watch for now," Jack replied, kneeling beside her. "They've got this." But inside him, uncertainty clawed for attention. Could he trust Michael to stay safe? Could they emerge from this encounter to keep the fragile bonds they had begun to forge? Just then, Michael re-entered the fray, a fire extinguisher in hand, eyes ablaze with intent. Jack's throat constricted, wrestling with the impulse to shout. "Michael, no!" he yelled, heart racing as Michael approached the flames, a superhero in the face of chaos. But as if the universe had slowed time, Jack felt the world around him blur, grief and anger waging war inside his heart. Memories of professional firefighters who entered into danger with training and protection rushed to the surface. "Michael, you're not a firefighter!" Jack screamed, adrenaline surging. "You can't just jump in." In that fraught moment, time unraveled. Michael's determination flickered, and the realization of what he was doing seeped into his consciousness. The moment hung heavy like a pendulum in the air, suspended between instinct and reason. The sirens blared, and Jack's heart raced as he navigated forward. "Put it down. Just come back." The crowd turned to stare, and Jack felt a wave of connection sweep through, a unity that came from facing uncertainty together. He stepped forward, not just as a friend, but as a father and a man intent on mending the fissures between them. As Michael hesitated, confusion flitted across his features. "I just want to help," he shouted back, eyes wide. "You can help by letting them do their job. You're not alone in this," Jack shouted, the weight of his words hanging in the chaos. It wasn't just about the present fire. It was about facing their past, about recognizing that they were better together than apart. The battlefield shifted. Clarity and understanding washed over Michael's face. He placed the fire extinguisher down, taking slow, deliberate steps away from the danger. Jack felt relief flooding through him. Still, they hovered between relieved and unsteady. As they took a step back, the serious work of the firefighters unfolded before their eyes. Fear and determination mingled with unyielding hope as they battled the flames. Jack watched as children were gathered together, and amid the swarming worry, he felt the warmth of connection remind him of the love and strength still standing amidst the wreckage. "I'm so sorry." Michael's voice trembled beside him, raw and honest. "I've been so focused on what I've lost, I forgot about what I have here." Jack nodded, recognizing the shift. There, beneath the chaos, was the glimmer of healing. "We can find strength in each other. We just need to embrace it together." As if the world was coming together, he glanced at Lily. Her expression transformed from confusion to understanding. The puppy nestled in her little arms, offering small comforts as she clung tightly to hope. With each passing moment, vulnerabilities stripped bare. A new bond began to form again, tethered in shared experience and the promise of tomorrow. And suddenly, the flames receded, surrendering to the dedication of the firefighters, who battled tirelessly against the blaze. Jack felt the community envelop them, the courage, the love, the laughter, all intertwined like a tapestry of human connection. "I missed you, Jack." Michael's voice was soft, unguarded. "Maybe today is our chance to start anew, to find the courage to heal." "Yes," Jack replied, feeling a warmth swell deep within him. "But it starts with recognizing we're not alone. We never were." And as they stood together, Lily giggling beside them and the puppy wagging its tiny tail, Jack wondered how far they had traveled from darkness. Perhaps today was more than just a frantic rescue. It was a rebirth. With their hearts now illuminated by choice and possibility, they turned back towards the bustling community, letting hope and determination wash over them like a balm, feeling embraced by those who understood what it meant to rise from the ashes. Now Jack smiled, taking a deep breath. "Let us buy that little girl some ice cream. She deserves it." And as they walked back into the light, Jack's heart felt lighter than it had in years. There was joy just ahead, waiting to unfold. Today could indeed be the beginning of something wondrous, and a promise echoed between them. Hope knew no bounds when love was shared. Actively engaging in this moment felt like true purpose at last. And with that, Jack was ready to forge ahead. Now, for everyone watching alongside, it's time to step in. Hit that subscribe button now. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like immediately to help our story reach those who need it. Don't forget to comment your feelings about this ending. It means the world to us. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who could use a little light in their lives. You need to join our community today. You'll never want to miss the next exclusive story. Let's journey together.